up on because it's going to go right into 26 and beyond. Everything from the types of people that we're looking for to what they're responsible for to
Yeah.
the types of searches that we're working on has changed. People that are connected to revenue at all different levels are going to get seen. People that are generalists need to get up and really do a lot of pivoting. And
Yeah.
that's not as difficult as it sounds. I'm not saying make a career change at all. But what I'm saying is that you need to get certified. You need to get the tools at all levels with this. But how do we use those tools to create efficiencies internally? And then how do we use those tools to create revenue externally coming in, inbound revenue? So those marketing CMOs that we place on the regular VPs of performance and growth need to understand that. What is your superhuman strength and how does that work?
Right.
It's, I wouldn't pivot careers as far as I'm going to go from a CMO into, being a vet or vice versa.
Right.
There's not too much I can do for that. But what I would do is say that I'm not going to label myself as a generalist, saying, how am I the best commodity for David's client and for whatever I'm going to in my search?
Mhm.
And then work that.
When we work on the candidate side to prepare for the search, prepare the resume, prepare the LinkedIn profile, do the search strategy, it's really about getting hyper focused. It's not about changing who you are or what you do, but it's about narrowing the messaging so that we're really focusing on the areas that you bring the highest level of value and really knowing who you're marketing to. That way we can build a unique value proposition that really is hyper targeted to the value that you bring in those specific roles that is beyond what anyone other candidate can do, right? 25 years of experience in XYZ industry isn't a differentiator anymore. And so it's really not necessarily about doing something different, but it's about really focusing your messaging on what you do
That's
best.
why your business is so unbelievably valuable right now. And I'm not blowing smoke. As an executive recruiter, we don't coach. The resume's over here. I'm trying to
Right.
stay on the screen because it's so far out at the moment. The
Yeah.
LinkedIn is what your company and what you guys do that is so incredibly relevant, whether you're working with a recruiter or whether you're doing a job search on your own. That needs to be utilized, optimized, targeted. Every button needs to be pressed and correct so that you are
Mm.
found quickly. If you are doing an AI driven resume that's going to customize it to the search, it doesn't make sense because we're not going to try to, jam your foot with a shoehorn into making it fit. And it's the same thing with a LinkedIn profile. You need to really understand what the content is and then, especially with this job market, because you're going to be held accountable to it, back it up in interviews. The hardest job that you have, the hardest product that you can market at the moment is yourself. So
Mm. So true.
out on that is by having an opinion. How does your brand, how does your personal brand fit in? Create content for yourself daily, as
Yeah.
as many times without being cluttered and without posting something that's not relevant or that's just basically useless, content. We want to hear what you're doing. Again, the internal recruiters, man, props to you all. Um, they're not going to post. And actually, a lot of our searches that we've had recently are hidden jobs, meaning that they're not going to post on their site. They're not going to list them on the jobs that we're actively recruiting for because of the onslaught of not correct, incorrect, massive amounts of paper that they're going to receive.
What we hear candidates say all the time is, I don't need help with my resume because I can just have AI do it, or I can use ChatGPT, or I use ChatGPT to write my resume. And this is true. It physically can create a resume for you, but that's not the goal, right? The goal is not to have a resume; it's to get a job. So let's talk a little.
You've got the ability to draw content off Claude, off ChatGPT, off whatever AI it is, and use that. But you need to use it in your own words. Your resume could open a door, but it can close it really fast if it's not you. Downloaded the job description and said link this resume to appear like this. You're going to have to back that up.
Right.
So yeah, and God bless you if you get the job. I don't particularly want you if you're using a chat GPT generated resume that's showing things that are not, your core superpower.